Ako po si Jamila Georgina Espinazo. So, mag-reading man po ako. Ang ikwento ko po, The Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Her grandma lives in a family. Here, Goldilocks is so very fond of the flowers. This is the reason she loves to stay at her grandma's house during school vacation. Her grandma has a birds and garden with the typical kinds of multicolored and beautiful flowers. Her grandma lives in Fairy Town. That town is different from the place where Goldilocks lives, and air is fresh, and the beautiful flowers bring joy to her heart. One morning, Goldilocks saw a butterfly. It's so ugly and so colorful. Goldilocks started to take a closer look at the butterfly, but it's so fly away. Goldilocks followed the butterfly, and she saw unaware that she is going deep in the world, and she only saw reason when she lost her interest, and she found when she found the tree. Goldilocks soon found the forest until she has lived in the woods. The house in the trees and nothing and her grandma, who might be worried about her, did need to hear the footsteps. Heard a footstep. She hid behind the very legular tree, and she heard the great thunder. And all the footsteps had gone. I must find the way back before it gets dark. And she started to place the tape. She comes from Goldilocks becomes quicker. She kept starting her step, but she fit the way getting nowhere. After an hour, she sat down on the grass and rested. She was very hungry and expired. Hey, Goldilocks came out when she saw big butterfly, and since the butterfly had telling her something and followed it, she had to look up at the butterfly. She was able to see. Goldilocks lost her mind. She fell on the steps stone and the stone until she found herself in the garden full of flowers not far away from the garden. It's so warm and hot. Goldilocks herself, her heart is so filled with hope, and she hopes that the people in the house will help her to go back to her grandmother, while the butterfly kept flying from one flower to another. Goldilocks went in the house and knocked at the door. When no one answered, she pushed the door and went inside. She saw on the table 3 bowls different size. Goldilocks was so hungry. She ate the food and in the smallest bowl. It tasted so good. After eating, she washed the bowl and put on the place. It's the table where she has so full and she sits in the seat. She's sitting on the small chair in the living room. She forgot that she needs to go home. Red fast it's getting dark and she is so tired and sick. Her husband really talked to me when the beside. He saw two beds like the boat and chairs. The beds are equal size, so he chose the small bed, on it lay down. Soon Goldilocks asleep soundly. Outside it's getting dark and the wind has so blowing so. Minutes later, having footsteps could be heard from outside the house. When the door opened, the three birds come in. They are Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear. They visit a friend, but Mama Bear made sure that they have something to eat when they get home. To her, Baby Bear noticed her clean and empty little bowl. Someone ate my food, she said. Mama Bear also noticed that the little chair has not on its position.
By Boots S.A. Pastor. The Thirsty Crow. A crow suddenly felt thirsty while he was flying over the forest. He started looking for a place where he could get a drink of water. The crow found himself in a garden of glass near the forest. On top of a marble table was a glass jar. The crow perched on the table. He felt relieved when he saw that the jar contained water. But the crow could not get to the water at the bottom of the jar. The water was too shallow. Besides, the mouth of the jar was too narrow for him to dip his head inside. The crow searched the surroundings, trying to find a way to solve the problem. When he saw pebbles on the ground, a bright idea struck him. The crow picked up the pebbles one by one and dropped them inside the jar. And as the jar slowly got filled with pebbles, the water inside started to rise. The crow happily flew away after he had quenched his thirst.
The The true value of friendship. Once upon a time, there was a young soldier. He was returning home from a war. After many years before coming home, he called his parents. He said, "Mom and Dad, I am coming home, but I want to ask you something." His parents replied, "What is it?" He said, "I have a friend. I want to bring him to our house." "Sure," they replied, "we'd love to meet him." The son then said, "You have seen his photo too. I had sent it to you last time. His name is Robin." The son continued, "Robin was hurt badly while fighting. He has lost an arm and a leg. He has nowhere else to go. I want him to come and live with us." When the parents heard this, they said, "No, we cannot take care of him." Then the son replied, "If he cannot come, I will not come home either." And he put the phone down. For 2 years, the parents did not see their son. He did not call them and they could not find them. One day, they were in the supermarket. There they saw a young man. The man was Robin, their son's friend in the photograph. The parents were surprised to see him. He had his both arms and legs. Then they asked him, "Do you know where our son is?" Robin said, "Yes, he lives with me, with our house." Then they begged him to take them to their son. The young man took his friend's parents to his home. There the parents saw their son. Their son did not have one arm and one leg. They learned that his friends had wanted to come and live with them, to take care of their son. The parents then began to cry. They had just learned the true value of friendship.
Lion and the Mouse. One day, a lion slept in the jungle. A tiny mouse ran into his
The title of the story is Rapunzel. Once upon a time, a poor couple lived in the next door to an enchantress. The enchantress had a garden full of fruit and vegetables. Every year, all the delicious carrots, lettuce, and apples lay on the ground and rotten. Meanwhile, the poor couple had hardly enough to eat. One day, the poor man's wife was very hungry indeed. She was about to have a baby and needed to eat some food. Her husband climbed the wall and went into the enchantress' garden. He picked a big lettuce and took some juicy apple and carrots home to his wife. The man and his wife ate the fruit and it was delicious. But the enchantress was very angry with the poor couple. "You have stolen from me," she said. "When your baby is born, I will take it from you." And sure enough, when the baby girl was born to the poor man and his wife, he kicked enchantress took her away. The baby was named Rapunzel, and she grew into a lovely young woman with long golden hair. She had a beautiful singing voice and even thought the enchantress hated to hear her. Rapunzel sang all day long. One day, the enchantress took Rapunzel into a tall tower in the middle of a forest. She cast a spell on the tower so that anyone left alone in it could never escape. "This spell cannot be undone," cackled the enchantress.
You will live here forever, and I will not have to listen to you sing. Sometimes the ancient tree come to visit Rapunzel. She could call out, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Rapunzel would unpin her long golden hair and lower it out of the window, so the ancient tree could climb up into the tower room. The ancient trees gave Rapunzel a few scraps of food and made sure that nobody had managed to enter the. Then she would climb back down Rapunzel's hair and scurry home. One morning, a prince was wandering through the forest and hear Rapunzel singing. He was entranced by her beautiful voice and followed it to the tower. He saw the ancient tree call out, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair, and then climb up the golden blocks. When the ancient tree had left, the prince called out, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Rapunzel, thinking the ancient tree had returned, shook her hair out the window and the prince climbed up. Rapunzel was very surprised to see a handsome prince instead of the ancient tree. Rapunzel and the prince fell in love, and the prince vowed to rescue her. I will visit you every night and bring you silk to weave into a ladder so you can climb down the tower. The prince vowed.
Ang mga kapatid, sina Bea at Daniela ay magkapatid, ngunit magkaiba ang kanilang pag-uugali. Matalino at masipag mag-aral si Bea, kaya matataas ang mga markang nakuha niya. Samantalang tamad at pabaya naman si Daniela kung kaya't mababa ang kanyang marka. Maingat sa pagtawid sa kalsada si Bea at wala namang pakialam sa kanyang nilalakaran si Daniela. Isang araw, habang sila'y naglalakad pa uwi galing sa paaralan, biglang tumawid si Daniela sa kalsada. Buti na lang mabilis siyang nahawakan ng kanyang kapatid. Sa susunod, mag-iingat ka pagtawid, muntik ka na masagaan. Saway ni Bea sa kanyang kapatid. Salamat Diyos ko, ang sambit ni Daniela sa sarili. Mula noon, nagbago na ang ugali ni Daniela. Stork and the Wolf. One day, the wolf came out of his den to look for food. By the river, the wolf saw some fish which a fisherman had left behind. The wolf quickly gobbled up the fish until "Argh!" A fish bone got stuck in the wolf's throat. He kept howling, but he could not get rid of the fish bone. A stork passed by. What happened to your wolf? He asked. A fish bone got stuck in my throat. The worried wolf shouted, "Open your mouth, and I will remove the fish bone." The stork offered. With her long and pointed beak, the stork was able to remove the fish bone from the wolf's throat. After gaining his composure, the wolf quickly turned to leave. Are you not going to thank me, Wolf? The stork called after the wolf. You should be the one thanking me, because I did not before you, the wolf shouted back arrogantly.
The spotted cow. There was once rather a vain cow. She was plain white with two nice curly horns. She thought she looked rather nice, but she could have some nice black spots over her back. There were no spotted cows in the field at all, and the white cow thought it would be grand to be the only spotted cow. Now one day, when she was munching long, juicy grass that grew in the hedge, she came across a small pixie mixing black paint in a pot. "What are you doing?" asked the cow. "I'm mixing my black paint," said the little fellow. "I'm the pixie that paints the spots on the ladybirds, you know." "Oh," said the cow. "Well, will you paint some on me?" "Yes, if you give me a nice drink of milk," said the pixie. In a long line stood about 20 ladybirds with bright red backs and no spots. In the pixie neatly painted 7 black spots on each red back, and the ladybirds flew off in delight. "I don't mind doing that," said the cow. "You can find a tin mug and milk some of my creamy milk into it for yourself." "I just finished this ladybirds first," said the pixie, and he turned back to his work. In a long line stood about 20 ladybirds with a bright red backs and no spots. The pixie neatly painted 7 black spots on each red back, and the ladybirds flew off happily. The spotted cow.
Ang tsokolate ay isang uri ng matamis na pagkain. Karaniwa ito paborito ng mga bata dahil sa lasang ito ating pangangatawan, binibigyan lakas at nakakatulong
This is Paul. He's a policeman. He's old and a little fat. He works at the police station. He helps people every day. He gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He takes a shower, brushes his teeth, and puts on his clothes. Then he eats breakfast at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, he takes the bus to the police station. Paul starts work at 7:30. He puts on his uniform and gets his gun. Then he talks with his friends. But sometimes he traces things and help people. Cleans the police car in the afternoon. He goes home at 5 o'clock. In the evening, he takes a shower and he feeds his cat. He has dinner at 6:30. Then he plays computer games with his friends. At 10 o'clock, he goes to bed.
Friends and the bear. Gigi and Granny were friends. On a holiday, they went walking into a forest, enjoying the beauty of nature. Suddenly, they saw a bird coming at them. They became frightened. Granny, who knew all about climbing trees, ran up to a tree and climbed up quickly. They didn't think of Gigi. Gigi had no idea how to climb the tree. Gigi thought of a second. Either animals don't prepare dead bodies, so he fell to the ground and held his